I love eggs. At Easter, I started out as an egg.
Like every morning, my dad will make me like fried eggs with toast.
I eat eggs in the morning when I get tired of eating cereal.
I eat eggs most days for breakfast, especially like huevos rancheros.
Eggs are the building blocks of life.
Eggs are my favorite source of protein.
Americans love eggs, mainly because they have become an attractive source of protein and a versatile food source. In October of 2017, egg production totaled 7.7 billion. However, Americans rarely stop to think about how the eggs got on their breakfast plate.
Since males are worthless to the egg industry, they are disposed of like trash, either suffocated to death or ground up alive in large industrial macerators. The global egg industry murders 6 billion newborn male chicks every year.
American egg producers typically cram 8 or 9 hens into wire cages. That is less than the size of a standard American sheet of typing paper.
Being confined to an overcrowded cage also causes excessive pecking. To avoid the hens from injuring each other, they are debeaked, meaning that part of their beaks are cut off.
When a hen's egg-laying rate drops, she is considered spent and is either killed or force-molted.
Force molting involves being kept in complete darkness without food or water to shock their systems into another egg-laying cycle.
Luckily, there are ways to combat this cruelty. You can stop giving this evil industry your money and still have eggs to enjoy. This video will show you how to raise your own chickens.
Raising chickens takes a lot of work and dedication. So before you go out and buy chickens, you need to consider what you'll need, such as space to house them, the supplies you'll need, and the time and money to take care of them.
I know you're excited to have fresh, cruelty-free eggs right in your backyard, but it's best to start off small. You should only get about 4 to 6 chicks to begin your coop with. Chickens are flocking animals, so they need to be in groups. However, it's important for you to see if raising chickens is something you can handle.
We suggest having a fully functioning chicken coop set up and all supplies you'll need before the purchase is made. There are many different styles of chicken coops. It's up to you to choose what best suits your climate, space, and budget. Assuming that you're buying chicks, you will need a starter cage. Most chickens are bought around 1 week old or younger and will need to be kept in a smaller area so they feel warm and safer.
Don't buy baby chicks if you don't have the space they will need when they grow up. Chickens are curious animals who need plenty of land to wander. You need at least 11 feet by 10 feet space to keep the chickens in your backyard. However, more is always better. If you live on a busy street, you need to consider putting in a fence to keep your chickens safe.
Even if your chickens are free range, they need shelter to sleep in at night and to be protected from predators and the elements. If you live in a place that does not experience winter conditions, a chicken shed style coop will be sufficient shelter.
The cost of a chicken shed ranges from $350 to $1,000, plus shipping depending on your location. Another option is building your own coop. Be sure to model your coop off of existing models that have room for water, feeding containers, nesting area, and at least 3 square feet of room per chicken. If you live somewhere with long and bitter cold winters, you need to consider a more stable coop. A small barn that you can adapt to suit your chicken's needs will be a perfect fit.
Assuming you are buying your chickens as chicks, there are a few key things to know about tending to them for the first few months.
First, it is important that you have the correct type of food. Chicks need a starter feed to support their development, which they should have access to at all times. Hydration is also imperative to good chicken health. Make sure that water is always kept clean and plentiful, especially in hotter weather.
If you get your chicks only a few days old, make sure you gently dunk their beaks into water to teach them how to drink. This is so they don't suffer from dehydration.
The last supply you need is bedding to keep your chickens warm, comfortable, and to make cleaning easier. Straw and pine shavings are good bedding options for chickens of all ages.
Now you're ready to get your chicks. It's up to you to determine which breed of chickens you would like. Some breeds produce brown eggs, others produce white eggs, and some even produce blue or green eggs. Make sure that while deciding where to get your chicks, you do research on the seller and check that the chicks appear healthy. It's important to make sure the place you are buying from is credible and cruelty-free. This would include assessing whether the coops are clean and allow ample space for the chicks. Do not be afraid to ask the seller questions about their business.
Some signs to look for in a healthy chicken include clear, shiny eyes, Both nostrils should be clear and open, and there should be no discharge.
Remember to keep your coop at warmer temperatures for the first couple of months. The chicks will need to have their heat lamps on their starter cage at all times. This will ensure their bodies will stay healthy and protected from the cold.
Chicks can be very fearful, so it is beneficial to hold them to show them that humans are their caretakers, not their enemies.
Luckily, caring for adult chickens is much easier. It involves 3 simple things: feeding, cleaning, and collecting.
As your chickens get older, they will eat different feed. Purchase your food according to the age of your chickens and make sure they always have access.
One simple way to increase the strength of the eggs that your hens produce is by mixing oyster shells into the food.
As they grow bigger, they will be eating and drinking more, so you will need to get large containers. Make sure in the winter months the water containers are on a heated pad or have a heat lamp pointed at them to prevent the water from freezing.
To maintain the health of your chickens, you need to keep their coop clean. You need to remove the used bedding in their coop once every 1 to 2 weeks. If it is a cold winter, you need to wait a week or so longer. As gross as it sounds, the dirty bedding will keep your chickens warmer than fresh bedding will.
Oh hey! You should make sure to dust your coop regularly to reduce the risk of fire and promote good lung health for your chickens.
Once or twice a year, you should do a deep cleaning to remove all clutter from your coop and leaf blow out any dust or grime, as well as sanitize what you can with a strong, non-toxic cleaner.
When it's time to collect eggs, it will be obvious. There will be eggs. Contrary to popular belief, chickens do not only lay in the morning. It is true that they will not lay at night, but don't be surprised if a hen lays in the afternoon.
When reaching to grab your egg, it's important to be very respectful to the hen. Even though the egg was never fertilized and there is not a baby inside, the hen can have a very strong maternal instinct. Even a friendly hen may become aggressive if they feel threatened by your hen.
A hen who wants to protect her eggs and raise them is called a broody hen. These hens will sit on hers and other eggs for extended amounts of time and may act territorial. There is nothing wrong with the hen, and you certainly should not try punishing or getting rid of her for this behavior. To retrieve your eggs, you can either wait for that hen to stop sitting on them or bribe her away with chicken scratch.
On the opposite side of the spectrum, some chickens will break their own eggs in order to eat them. To prevent this, purchase fake eggs to train your chickens to believe that the eggs cannot be broken.
It's important to always handle your eggs with care, especially with your chicken's first eggs because they will be particularly small and weak. After collecting, promptly bring your eggs to your refrigerator and be aware that cleaning eggs with soap and water will make them go bad faster.
And remember, don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Some problems you may run into are crop chest, overheating, aggression, and pecking order.
When a chicken eats its food, it is temporarily stored in the crop where it is dissolved and passes into the small stomach and gizzard. However, some chickens' crop may fail to empty, which is very painful for them and can lead to their death.
One way to help prevent this is by ensuring that your chickens are drinking enough water and that they are not eating too much dry or stringy foods like grass clippings. If you are worried that your chicken has developed crop chest, mix small amounts of apple cider vinegar into their water to help clear their crop.
In the summer, the chickens will love to lay out in the sun. However, this can pose a health issue for them. Overheating in chickens can cause heat stroke, low egg productivity, or even death.
A way to prevent your chickens from overheating is by making sure your coop allows for plenty of shade and air circulation. If you notice a chicken has been in the sun for too long and is acting lethargic, uncoordinated, and out of breath, you'll need to offer them water, shade, and if need be, carry them to cool down in air conditioning.
One of the hardest parts of raising chickens for beginners is dealing with pecking order. In your flock, do not be surprised if your chickens develop a ranking of dominance. The bigger, more aggressive chickens will be at the top of the pecking order. They will establish a dominance by literally pecking at the other chickens. This can be hard to watch because you will want all of your chickens to get along, and it's always the smaller chickens who end up at the bottom of the pecking order.
However, this is a natural way of life for chickens, and it is only up to you to monitor the level of aggression, not stop the pecking order. One way you can try and reduce your chicken's aggression is by keeping them busy and less stressed. You can do this by giving them vegetable scraps and plenty of time outside.
However, sometimes there's only so much you can do. In the winter, when your chickens will spend the least amount of time outside, they will be the most aggressive towards each other. If you notice that one or two of your chickens are being picked on more than you feel comfortable with, you should isolate those birds so they can heal up and get a break from the stressful environment.
Like any pet, tending to chickens requires a great deal of responsibility. But at the end of the day, they're a great addition to your family. There's nothing like having fresh and cruelty-free eggs in your own backyard that you, your family, and your friends can all enjoy.
If you have more questions or need more information, it's important for you to do your own research. Happy tending!